Goalkeepers tape their wrists and their fingers to prevent any injuries happening to them. In this video, I'll show you how to properly tape your wrists and fingers to secure them from any injuries and to keep your fingers and wrists safe when playing. You may use some tape for your fingers or your wrists if you caught a ball wrong or even if you fell on the ground badly, because in that case you would use tape to secure and support your joints within your hands. In my opinion, you'd only use tape when you are injured. I don't recommend you relying on tape to support your joints. I prefer to increase my joint stability, strength and mobility rather than relying too much on this. When taping your fingers, because you want to keep them safe or to nullify swelling or pain, then you must tape around the swelling area but also around the knuckle joint slightly to ensure its motion and stability. When taping the finger, you want to use some standard adhesive goalkeeper tape and ensure it's not elastic tape or sock tape, as that won't be beneficial. When taping around the finger in the pain area, you want to ensure you start taping from the inside of your finger, going around as if you are doing circles on the one area of the finger. As you start to get a loop, you want to slowly curve the tape in a diagonal fashion, covering the inside of the knuckle. As you are wrapping the tape around the knuckle zone, you want to miss out the outside knuckle whilst taping around it to still ensure range of movement in the finger and ensuring the finger isn't in a stiff position. As you are still wrapping around the knuckle, you'd wrap back diagonally down to the inside of the knuckle and lastly overlap the tape around the origin point. As you can see, this leaves the inside of the knuckle covered and the outside exposed, allowing motion and also gives your fingers more sturdiness and protection. Taping wrists as a goalkeeper is different to the fingers. There are many ways to tape your wrists as a goalkeeper. Some you just use adhesive tape for the wrist, whereas some apply pre-wrap before they add adhesive tape after. Both ways are right, but some just make taking the tape off a little bit easier. Ideally, you don't want to tape over these bits, but through the center is okay for this taping method. You'd only tape around these areas if you feel pain there, but mainly try to avoid it. As you start to tape the wrist, begin the origin point of the tape on the inside of the wrist, going around and down the wrist slowly, slightly diagonally. You ideally want to wrap the tape around your wrist 5 to 6 times for more stability. The other way of taping your wrist is if you feel pain in these areas, is to tape it around your hand. You would execute the taping job as usual, starting from the inside of the wrist and going around. However, try to tape the wrist away from you, as it makes your job easier. You want to do 2 loops around your wrist, not too tight, and on the second loop, you want to go up onto your hand, going through the area of pain and between the pointed finger and the thumb. Ensure you keep your hand wide open as you go around to the other side of the hand and the far side of the wrist, rejoining the loop. Then you want to wrap around the hand again as you are looping around the wrist again. You want to do slow and controlled loops going down the arm about 5 to 6 times for more stability. Remember, you don't want to keep the tape job tight around your wrist as you don't want to cut off the circulation going to the hand, but rather you want to place the tape slowly and controlled onto the wrist. Just using adhesive tape may be painful to take off, therefore some people like to add pre-wrap around the wrist. Pre-wrap can apply a bit of warmth, but it also helps you with you not cutting circulation to your hands, as it just adds that little layer of protection, also making taking adhesive tape off pain-free. If you got to this bit in the video, comment save. Another thing you can do with the wrist is if you wanted to stiffen up to ensure less pain around the wrist but less mobility, you can use sock tape going around once or twice around the wrist, making it stiffer.